So, question of the day: when a wife decides to leave or divorce, how long has she been planning to leave? In my experience as a marriage coach, I've seen as little as 1 year and as much as 11 years. Um, Women, also, we got to realize women, they need to build up courage to leave, and even more if they are planning to take the kids with them. A lot of that courage comes from single women, divorced women, her best friend, her co-workers, and sometimes it can even be her new lover, which is probably a man. You must realize that women need support in all they do. The more support they have from friends, children, co-workers, the more courage they get. But she doesn't leave but she doesn't leave. She must plan then during that planning phase. So if she's not going to leave during the planning phase, she's trying to plan, and usually it takes, most times it could be as little as a year, but like I said, I've seen as much as 11 years. Um, so basically, she is hoping during the planning phase that her husband will change in giving her a reason to stay. Okay. And these phases or chances are called the wife's exit strategy. The wife's exit strategy, I'm going to explain here in a minute. So that's the question of the day. You must realize again that when a wife decides to leave or divorce, she's been planning for a while to do that. And again, it takes courage. She's got to have make plans. And a lot of times her husband don't even know that she's planning to do this. That's why you hear guys say, well, I didn't even know she was leaving, or she just sprung this on me. You'll come home, and I had it where guys, the U-Haul is in the darn driveway and the stuff's already packed up and she's leaving. And this is the thing that we must start to learn how to get into our wives and to pay attention to them, so that when they are unhappy, or they thinking they're going to leave, or they're starting to make plans to leave, we are there the first ones to know. And a lot of times, see, when your wife is working, especially even when she's not working, she's around a lot of different women and they talk. And a lot of times those women, especially co-workers, divorced women, single women, they are going to start to put things in her head, and that will get her to start thinking about that, yeah, maybe my life isn't so good. Maybe my marriage isn't that good. So with that being said, we will be right back. And what I need you to do is stay with me so that we can get into the 7 strategies that a woman will do before while she is planning to leave, and the things that she'll take you through. All right, all right. So the wife's exit strategy, she's been planning for years to leave your marriage. You just refuse to see the clues. A lot of times we don't see the clues. We don't see the thing. We just want to go to work and we want to think everything is good. Even if we don't think things is good, what we'll do is we'll kind of ignore it. And now that begins to bite us in the butt because our wife has asked for a divorce or left the home. And what do? What is our next move, right? What you do is get in the game, open your eyes, and learn how to talk to your wife and try to understand how she thinks. And for the first phase of this, we must learn what she is going to do, then make a logical plan to stop or delay it and get your marriage back. A lot of people don't really realize that in order to keep our marriage going, once we lose it, it's very hard to get it back. You must learn what I call the wife's exit strategy. And the wife's exit strategy is what your wife does when she still loves and cares about you, but is not sure what she is going to do with you, which is what? Divorce you or keep you. Okay. During the time, you must improve yourself, remain consistent with those changes, and be patient over a long period of time. So she again trusts you. Okay. And you must stop the needy behavior and repel her from you, such as being desperate, pleading, begging, becoming angry. These only push her away. So again, being desperate and needy, begging, becoming angry, trying to defend yourself, blaming her, criticizing her, all that does is push her away and makes her want to leave more. Okay. The wife's exit strategy tells you what she is going to do and what order, and in what order, in fact, shows you your future. Again, the wife's exit strategy, what it does is it tells you what's going to happen, like what she's going to do, the next thing she's going to do through 7 steps. And your job as a husband is each step you must stop that. You must stop her at the step she's in, okay? Or she'll keep going, and we're going to learn about that more in a minute. Lastly, it is very important that you keep your wife in the phase she is currently in, because if she moves further into the wife's exit strategy, the more cold-hearted and entrenched in her current course of action she will be, which spells hell on earth for you. So here are the 7 phases of a wife's exit strategy. Her exit strategy, phase 1. Number 1, the phase 1 is the need to control you. Okay. So how does that work? What does that mean? So after the fall, women have an overwhelmingly need to control their husband. After the fall, women have an overwhelmingly need to control their husband. So that is after the fall, that's it's called the curse of Eve, and where God told Eve and told Adam, you listen to her, now you're going to listen to her. She's going to have pain during childbirth. She's gonna be ordered towards marriage, and she's going to nag you and do all these kind of things. And that's exactly what happens to men now. When a wife starts trying to control you, this is the first clue that you have marriage problems. When your wife tries to control you, you have marriage problems. Most guys don't do anything right there. They just kind of ignore it. But here's what your wife is thinking. Oh, I'm nagging him to try to get him to do what I want him to do so I can see if he still loves me or not. Why? Because she feels no attention from you as a husband. She doesn't feel appreciated by you. She's starting to feel you don't love her. So nagging is her way of testing your love for her. So it's very important that you understand that. Okay. So exit strategy number 2, phase 2, that your wife will leave, is planning to leave, and before, as we go through. So she leaves you temporarily. So what does that mean? So to get your attention and get you to encourage you to get it together, she does the only thing she feels will make you listen. She leaves. She usually will take the kids in this place. She may go to her mom's house, a hotel, a friend's house, a family member's house. My first wife left like 3 times to her mom's house because she left before she left me permanently. So I've experienced this. My first wife, before she died, what happened is, man, she left me 3, 4, 5 times. She'd go back to New Mexico, go to her mom's house. I had no clue why she was leaving. She'd come back. I talk her back. She'd come back. We start to arguing and fighting and all this kind of stuff. And man, it was terrible. But as a young man, I didn't even know what the heck we were doing. Like, what she's mad at me for. And this happened on until, we were married 5, 10 years and stuff, 15 years, you know. And a lot of times when a woman in phase 2, when she leaves you temporarily, most of the time you can talk her back. Most of the time. But as you see, as we go through the phases, as you see talking her back, the more she leaves and all these things start to happen, the less easy it is for you to get her to come back home. So the second phase of the wife's exit strategy, before we talk about her filing for divorce and things like that, is she leaves you temporarily, which many people who've been married, their wife has left them. Okay, so number 3, excuse me, number 3, phase 3 of the wife's exit strategy is she may see another man. She may start seeing another man. Now, most guys can't get over that. And but you got to understand why your wife is doing this, right? Why is your wife letting another man fancy her? Why is she allowing another man to get in her ear? Well, if you don't get yourself together in extreme cases, she will put herself on the market. Many times she doesn't do it knowingly or consciously. It's just a change in her. Okay. Whereas before, when a woman's marriage is strong and she's working around co-workers and stuff, she doesn't, as any dope try to talk to her, she'll say, look, I'm happily married, or she won't even give out any kind of signals. But when her marriage starts to go bad, or she's unhappy, or she's starting to think about her marriage, what happens is she starts to tell everybody. And people can see that so people start to ask her, what's wrong? And so the bees come around, right? The home wreckers come around. The men come around, start talking to her, start making her feel good about herself, telling her how beautiful she is, how pretty she is, stuff like that. And guess what? Her husband at home ain't doing that anymore. Why? Because she has become his so-called partner. So she's not his beloved anymore. She's not on a pedestal. She's just a woman. She's not really his real wife. He doesn't treat her well. So when things start going bad in the marriage, or not even just going bad, when things start not being what she wants and her being happy, she'll start allowing another man to talk to her. So when your wife gets desperate, really desperate, she begins to allow other men to gain her fancy at work, at the store, her friends, old boyfriends. How many times have you seen, have you heard about, how many times have you heard about what wives go on a darn internet, or men too, but we ain't talking about men, we talking about wives, what they do. How many times have you seen a woman? Have you heard about a married woman who's supposedly happy in her marriage, got kids and has a so-called good life? She goes on Facebook, and she finds her old so-called boyfriend from college or high school, or even sometime middle school, or something, and they start talking. And he starts, she starts confiding in him. See, another thing guys don't understand is most of us think our wife would never screw around on us. She would never cheat on us. That's a lie. Anybody who thinks that is in a dream world. Your wife can mess around on with you. She can, and she will. I don't care how safe of a woman you think you got. If your wife becomes unhappy and unloved and there's no emotional connection and things are going wrong, these are the things that she'll do. So when she allows another man in her life besides her husband, this is extremely dangerous in many ways. If she brings him to your home, let's say you're not home, and the wife brings another man to his home, to her home. Her husband's at work or something. If you try and get her back, he may see this as a threat. How many times? See, that's another thing guys don't realize. Once your woman allows another man to talk to her and be her friend and all these kind of things, he looks at, that's my woman now. That ain't your woman no more. It's my woman. So what? You become a threat. As a husband, you become a threat to him. So what does he do? Fight you back. I've had guys talk to the husband like he wasn't nothing. And the wife just sitting there, just she ain't saying nothing. Matter of fact, it happened to me. Okay, so the guy may confront you. He may track you down and confront you if you try to get her back. He may threaten you. I've had guys threaten other dudes before. It's very difficult to persuade your wife to return unless her relationship with him begins to turn sour. These are called rebound relationships. A lot of times, people, when they're in a relationship other than with their spouse, they're having an affair, what'll happen is the situation will start to turn sour, and then the wife wants to come back to her husband, and sometimes they do, but a lot of times the man ain't changed. He's still the same jerk, or he hasn't progressed enough. And so what happens is the wife, she goes find somebody else or nobody and just stays by herself. I can't tell you how many men really, really believe that when things go wrong in the marriage, that it was not their fault. If they didn't do anything wrong, they'll say, "Well, I went to work. I brought my check home. I gave it to her. We went on vacation twice a year. We had sex. I thought the sex was good. But man, that is not. That just proves that that guy does not understand women. Does not understand his wife." And when you're talking about your wife, we've got to stop thinking about our wife as our partner. We got to start thinking about our wife as our beloved, the mother of our children, the one that God gave to us to get us to heaven. And this is how we get past that. We don't treat our wives like our daughters. We don't treat our wives like they're a buddy at work or a co-worker or some crap like that. We don't treat our wives like we treat other women. Our wife is special, and they expect to be treated like that for the rest of their lives, which means what? They expect you to court them and date them and win their heart the rest of their lives. And when we as husbands don't do that, that's how we open up to other men or them wanting to leave and things like that. It's very difficult So, so this is what happens almost all the time. If the husband is patient and begins improving himself, she will many times change her mind and realize her current relationship is going nowhere and that she needs her family and will return. Like I said, a lot of times when that affair starts to go sour, and it will, why? Because there's no grace from God in it. It's not sanctioned by Jesus Christ. Of course, it's going to go bad. Okay. But the key is you, as the husband, have to not be the same guy. You've got to be getting help. You've got to be trying to turn it around. You've got to be learning these skills to how to make a woman happy. Okay. Um, if she leaves the other man, usually he will be okay with it and allow things to break up amicably. That's another thing. If if you change and get yourself together as a man, another thing, men don't really realize that they're the leaders in the home given by God. So most men think, if the most men think, well, I don't have to change. I just keep doing what I want to do. They think that their wife will change or their kids will change, and then they go, well, then I'll act like I'm supposed to act. And that is a rookie mistake. That's a rookie mistake. When your wife will never in a million years change until the husband changes. She won't. Why? Because the way God has set it up as the natural order. Okay, God, Jesus Christ, husband, wife, children. The children and the wife look to the husband to guide them and lead them towards Christ. So they're not going to change. They're not. Whatever your wife is doing right now, she's going to keep doing it until you learn how to not make her act like that. Okay, right? If you're not having sex, they think, well, she should just give me sex whenever I want. I'm her husband. That's okay. Yes, by God, she's supposed to. Like you're supposed to give her sex when she wants. But is that how you want sex to be? Is it? Well, you got a woman that only gives you sex because it's her duty. She feels it's her duty to do it all the time. No, of course not. So what you have to do is try your best to understand women, understand what they want, give them what they want, serve them properly, and then you will get all the love making you want. But you got to understand what your wife is going through and what she's thinking. Okay. Um, so what'll happen is if you draw your wife back to you, the other man will be like, well, yeah, going back to your husband, I understand. But if it's a forced thing, man, people don't dudes, a lot of times dudes get into it and stuff. So this is why your prayer of defense against the diabolical is extremely important, as the Holy Spirit helps you protect your marriage when you are unable to be present. Most people don't understand that. They think, oh, my wife is gone. Well, I just say, oh God, please, please bring my wife back. They don't go to church. They don't go to mass. They don't pray really proper. They don't do any kind of meditative prayer. They don't do scripture. They don't do nothing. Oh God, just please bring my wife back. You know, and tell everybody else to pray for them and all that kind of stuff. Man, that stuff ain't about nothing. When you ask you to pray for you, if they're in mortal sin, their prayers don't mean nothing. Only people who are in grace with God's prayers mean anything. If somebody's in prayer, if somebody is in mortal sin, their prayer has no merit in the eyes of God, so they don't get it. Only time it does is when the person praying, if they're praying for improvement of their self, then God will give them the grace to become a better man, a better husband, a better father, because that is on them. But praying for Joe Blow don't mean nothing when you in mortal sin. Okay. All right. Number 4, phase 4. So this is the 4th phase. So again, what we're talking about today is the steps the steps a wife takes when before the marriage is completely over, files for divorce, annulments, and all that kind of stuff. Okay. A lot of guys don't understand their future. Like the things I'm giving you, these phases, if you just listen to what I'm saying, you will start to see this stuff in your marriage right now. Is your wife nagging you? Of course she is. Unless your marriage is like good and great. Okay. And then these other 2 or 3 that is your wife. If your wife will start to move through these phases before she gets to the last 2, and then it becomes very bad. Okay. So we've already talked about cheating and things like that. So the 4th phase your wife will go to. Another thing too, these phases, what do? Your wife is hoping through these phases before she files for divorce and all these kind of things. She's hoping that you, as her husband, she was hoping to have hope. It's called hope. Hope is a virtue. Faith, hope, and charity. She's hoping that her husband will change enough to make her forget about leaving, forget about filing divorce, forget about her affair. It's all on the husband to change. I had a guy ask me the other day, well, he asked me the other day, well, man, why I gotta do all the changing? When she gonna do something? First of all, again, like I said, you as a husband are held responsible for the marriage, for everything in that house. Okay. So that's what you're responsible for. Another thing is, if a man, as a man, if you expect your wife to change before you do, it's not going to happen. If you argue with your wife, she's going to argue with you. If you don't go to church, most times your wife ain't going to go to church. If you don't discipline your kids right, your wife ain't going to discipline the kids right. They're not going to be on the same page. You got to understand, your wife again and your kids are looking at you. And when you change, they will change. When you become virtuous, they'll become virtuous. When you become holy, they'll strive for holiness. When you try to be a better man, they'll be trying to be better kids. She'll try to be a better woman. Why? Because my God, my husband is so great, I have to be worthy of him. See, that's what we don't understand as men. We think we just walk around, look like bums, wear holes in our jeans, and don't wash our butt, don't brush our teeth, don't do nothing, don't do anything for our husband, our wife, really. We just come home and just whatever. And we think they just go, oh, daddy's home. Oh, baby, you're home. Oh, I love you so much. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. When you want change in your house, you've got to make change. If you want more intimacy in your home, in your bedroom, you've got to do things to make that happen. Okay. So again, the fourth phase, your wife has now asked for divorce. So the first one was what? The first one was your wife tries to control you. She's nagging you. The second one is your wife leaves you temporarily. The third one was your wife is now seeing another man. Okay. But now the fourth one, we getting that those three are serious, but now we really deep into it. She's asked for a divorce. This can happen when she leaves the home permanently, but usually it happens while she is in the house. Sometimes this threat is just a ploy to get you to man up and take her seriously and to see what you will do or not do and how you will react. A lot of guys see they take this like, okay, I can keep still doing what I'm doing. She's just bluffing. No, dude, your wife ain't really bluffing. She's just trying before she starts leaving out the house and doing things, getting really more upset and making things worse in the marriage. She's trying to give her husband a chance to get it together, to make her feel loved and make her feel cared for and make her feel like like he used to before they got married and things like that. Okay. So it's really not a ploy. She's just trying to see what you're going to say and what you're going to do. And I've had a lot of guys, and this is so stupid, and I'm sorry I got to say it. She'll say, well, I want a divorce then. And then he'll go, that's right, I want a divorce too. Screw you. Leave. I had a guy tell a woman, just go ahead and leave then. Well, you don't have women are. They're emotional. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to go pack their stuff and they're going to leave. I had another guy say, get divorced then. So you know what his wife did? Within a week, she didn't file for divorce on him. Why say stupid stuff like that to accelerate things, to make things more worse than they already are? Okay. So, but many times when this is a ploy, her saying, she wants a divorce to see if she is, but many times she is really serious and is willing to threaten with divorce to see if you will get yourself together and begin being the husband she needs again. In my experience, many husbands still don't take her serious and decide this is just a bluff and that she is overreacting or being emotional. So they allow pride to get in the way and do nothing, which is a terrible rookie mistake. Please, if your wife says I want a divorce, and first of all, if you're in a good marriage, why are we talking about divorce? Why is divorce coming up? We shouldn't be talking about divorce. I don't care if you're Catholic or Protestant. Why are we talking about divorce? If you're talking about divorce, you already know your marriage is something's wrong, and you as the man We have to start fixing this. Okay. So, number 5, your wife, the fifth phase is the wife separates permanently. So permanently is different from temporarily. When I say permanently, we talking about, look, I didn't got an apartment and I got at least a 12-month lease. Okay, I'm serious. I'm not playing with you. Okay, if things don't change, she will then leave permanently, move to another room in the house permanently, or ask you to leave temporarily. She is now desperate in her mind. She's done all that she can do to save her marriage. That's another thing. Women think, this is why, guys, many men don't get it. Women think when they're to these levels, they think I done did everything I can do. I've done everything I can do in this marriage. And the guy's thinking, and the guy's man, she's thinking, you ain't did nothing. You just now talking about leaving. You didn't tell me you was leaving. You didn't tell me you was unhappy. In her mind, she's giving you thousands of clues of her being unhappy. She's said 10,000 things. She's did all of these things. She's tried to talk to the husband. She's tried to even have sex with him to show how much she loves. She's done all these things, but the knucklehead does not change. And so when a woman is leaving or having an affair with another man, or she wants to leave permanently, she's and the man's going, well, what did I do wrong? First thing she's gonna say is, you don't understand me, and you know what you did wrong. They ain't gonna tell you because in their mind, I've been telling you for 20 years what's wrong. You just never listen to me because you don't really love me. If you love me, you shouldn't have to ask me what's wrong. Ain't that wrong, fellas? Ain't that wrong? Okay, um, so now your wife is desperate. In her mind, she's done all she can do to save her marriage. She's most likely had a plan for separation from you for months or in many cases years. If she leaves, more than likely she will try and take the children with her. She has plans where to go, what to do with the kids, her money situation, and has talked to many people for advice and their experience in divorce matters. That's what women gonna do. They're gonna go and talk to all their friends and get advice before they make action on you. Okay. She has plans where to go now, what to do with the kids, her money situation, and has talked to many people for advice and their experience in divorce matters, and has probably went to see a lawyer, all under the guise of making you think everything is still normal and okay. That's what they do. Everything is normal. She's gonna keep acting like everything's normal, everything's fine. But see, as a husband, we can look at our wife and know when she ain't things ain't right. We know it, but we just wish it away. Okay. In order to get our wife back in this situation, I'm sorry. Um, so long-term separation, along with her having another man, is very grave and a serious burden on your soul, her soul, and the souls of your children. A lot of men go, doesn't she know what she's doing to the kids? Doesn't she know what she's doing to her soul? Man, she don't care like that. And that's really not a fair thing to say. She doesn't care, but she doesn't care enough. The pain is so bad, she wants the pain to stop. So she's going to do whatever it takes, no matter what God's talking about. She's going to do whatever it takes for the pain to stop. And that's where you, as a husband, come in with sympathy and empathy and understand is, I know everything is not my wife's fault. A lot of this is my fault. But what we normally do, we come to our wives blaming them and criticizing them and all that kind of stuff, and it just makes things worse. In order to get our wife back in this situation, we must be in for the long game and willing to die to yourself and remove all pride and ego and begin a journey of self-discovery and including a walk towards God. When your marriage is going bad, it's going bad for one reason. You are moving away from God. You're not praying enough. You're not going to mass. You're not going to adoration. You're not going to confession. You're not in scripture. You're not doing mental prayer. You're not going to daily mass. You're not fasting. You're just moving too far away from God, and He's going, that's enough. I'm gonna screw up your marriage. I'm gonna allow the demons to come in and screw up your marriage. Okay. This is what we got to understand. It's not necessarily your wife. The reason we don't have peace in our homes is because we, as the husbands, as the men, the protectors and defenders of that home, we aren't doing our job supernaturally to keep Satan out. Okay. So, number 6, She files for divorce. Okay, now we're in phase 6. Our wife files for divorce. She's temporarily gone. I mean, she's temporarily gone. She might have had an affair or might not have had an affair. She might have moved to another bedroom, but basically now she is gotten to the point. She's in phase 6. I'm just filing for divorce because I have no hope for our marriage no more. But even though, guys, you got to realize, even though your wife files for divorce, you can't let that shake you. I can't say it enough that this all depends on you. I've had guys wait 2 or 3 years before they come talk to me. They know what they've come, they've talked to me before. They'll be 2 or 3 or 4 years. Then they'll come and go, Jerry, she actually filed for divorce. We're divorced now. Help me. I'm like, help you? Dude, you could have helped this 2, 3, 4 years ago. What are you doing? Just like we expect Jesus the same way. Things are going bad in their life. We're not doing what we're supposed to. We're sinning and morally sinning, not putting God first in their life, and then stuff start going wrong, and all of a sudden we expect Jesus to come in and be Superman and save us and fix our life. And that's what people do to me. I'm all over the internet. I'm really the only Catholic marriage coach, Christian marriage coach really out there. But you know what? People see me and they go, "Oh, I can wait. I can wait." Had a lady contact me the other day. You know, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to pay you whatever. I told her what my price is. I ain't heard from her since. You know why? Because people just want to bitch and whine. They don't want to really take. They don't really want to take responsibility for this part of their life. That is the second most important thing in our life. The first most important thing, relationship with God. The second most important thing is our marriage. And we just we want somebody to give us a quick fix, and then it gets worse and worse and worse, and we get paralyzed. Then we expect somebody, it don't have to be me, it could be a counselor or whatever. And they just expected this whole great thing to come, and this superhero Jerry Jacobs is gonna come in here and just tell me all these tricks to get my wife to act right. That ain't it. Went after 2 years or 3 years or 6 months or a month, when they could have started fixing this. They could have started fixing this, but then they just wait and wait and wait. Like right now, I should have 1,000 people listening to this podcast right now. You know what? No, they're too busy. They want to go watch the football game. They don't care. They want to go watch the football game. And that's fine. I might go watch the football. No, I can't. I got group tonight with the fellas. So I can't go watch the football game. But my point, what I'm saying is, we keep putting as men, we keep putting all these things above our marriage, and we expect it to get better on its own, and it's not. Would your job get better if you didn't go? Of course not. Okay, she didn't file for divorce. Now she files for divorce, phase 6. If she doesn't see a substantial change in you as a husband, father, or man, she will play her final 2 cards. Card 1 is she will file for divorce. In all states, she will get it. It's only a matter of time. When you file for a divorce, you're going to get it. Why? No fault divorce. Okay, it's evil. And sorry. She will hire a lawyer, use her and yours and other friends or family resources to get the best attorney she can afford. You must remember she's been planning this for a long time while you were in the twilight zone thinking this will all blow over. In order for her to file, she must willingly turn her heart cold towards you. This is very important. Please try to hear this. In order for your wife to not your wife, anybody, any wife to file for divorce, she must willingly turn her heart cold towards you. Why? Because she still cares for you. And if she allows you to speak to her, she knows that most likely she will change her mind and not file. But she is scared of the continued pain. So this is why she remains as mean, cold, and heartless as she can towards you. You can turn this around, but you must be non-emotional and task driven at all times. Okay. I can't tell you how many men say, well, she told me she don't love me. She's being mean to me. She won't talk to me, blah, blah, blah. Because in their mind, this just happened. I can't tell me, guys told me, oh yeah. I said, man, when did you start having marriage problems? Oh, last week. She only been gone a week. I said, no, man, you've been having marriage problems for years. You just ignored it. Okay. When a woman files for divorce or she has another man and all these things, she's going to be mean to you on purpose. Most women go get another man because they really want their husband, but he ain't doing nothing. She's bonded to him, and he's not changing. So he's gonna. The other guy makes her feel good, tells her how great she is, tells her how beautiful she is, how pretty she is, how good she smells. That's what he tells her. And what do we tell her? What do the husbands tell her? We don't tell them nothing. I love you. She go out to work in the morning. I love you. She come home. I love you. That is not what a woman wants. She wants to be courted. She wants to be made to feel like a woman, feel special. Okay. And so this is how we do it. A woman's gonna be mean to you when they file divorce or with another man, or they go with their wife, live with somebody else or whatever, because they know that you're gonna talk them back home. They know that if they let you talk to them, you're gonna get in their heart again, and they know you're gonna hurt them again. So they like, I'm not gonna want that. Okay. The last one, number 7, exit strategy phase 7, the annulment. So for you that are not Catholic, this is not you. But I'm gonna tell you this: why is there annulments? The annulment in the Catholic Church is for one reason and one reason only: to end a marriage that was not lawful in the first place. Okay, most people get divorced, and it's a mortal sin to get divorced and get married to somebody else. You only supposed to be married one time. Every Christian in the whole world knows that. We all try to play dumb. Like, God can say we can marry many people we want. We are not Mormons, okay? We are Christians. And Mormons know it's wrong too, but they do it because we're all selfish. I can't make it work with this person, so I'm gonna go find me somebody else to work with. Another thing too, I got a guy to try to contact me the other day. He been married 3 times. And you know what? I said, usually I don't take that appointment. But you know what? I took it and he didn't even show up. See, that's what I'm saying. People, you've been married 3 times, and this is why you married 3 times. Because this is why your wives have dumped your butt. Because you got a person that's gonna help you for free, and you won't even show up to the appointment. That's why you divorced 3 times, right there. Okay. And so an annulment means when Christ said divorce is no thing, divorce is only in case there's if the marriage is unlawful. The marriage is unlawful for a simple reason. Let's say something simple is a person lied about their finances before they got married, or they lied and said they wanted to have kids before they got married. Then they get married and they got all this debt, and then tell their spouse, or they say they don't want to have kids no more. Well, that's a reason for an annulment. The person lied. The marriage is old. The marriage doesn't mean anything because the person lied. And so when you get an annulment, that means when you get divorced, that means your marriage is over in the eyes of the state. It has nothing to do with God. Okay. God is in charge of marriage. God created marriage. So the state does have no power like that. They can't dissolve a marriage supernaturally, universally, heavenly. They can't dissolve a marriage. Basically, when you get divorced, it's about your possessions. It's not about your soul. So why do Catholics have annulments? Exactly why that. Because most women know, well, I'm divorced. Now I really want to be divorced in the eyes of God. I don't want to go to hell because I remarried some other dude and I didn't get annulment and get released from my first husband. So what do? They go to the tribunal, they get an annulment, they file for it, they get an annulment, and then the marriage is over in the eyes of the state and in the eyes of God. That's why annulments are important. It's God is the most important. And these people that try to act like I can get married 10 times and 3 times and 2 times and all that kind of stuff, and their wife ain't dead, dude, no, you can't do that, man. You can't do that. Okay. So, number 7, the annulment. If your wife is Catholic, this is her final card to play and your last chance to man up and get things together. See, even during the annulment stage and the divorce stage, your wife still has hope. That's why a lot of women they start crying and stuff at annulments and divorces and stuff. or they go home and cry and by themselves because they had hope that their husband would really show he loved them by changing, by building another connection again, by doing the things that she needs. But see, men, we're so selfish. And a lot of guys, they don't like me for saying that stuff because we want to blame everybody else for our marriage being screwed up, for our finances being screwed up, for our job being screwed up, for our kids being screwed up as a man. And the thing about it is, in the eyes of God, we are responsible for all of those people. Our wives and kids ain't responsible for that stuff. They're not. Look it up. God gave Adam in the Garden of Eden responsibility for the animals, the mountains, the earth, and everything. That means we are responsible. We are. And every man that tries to blame his wife and say, well, when's she gonna act right? She wouldn't did this and she did that. Man, all we doing is allowing Satan into our marriage and kicking Jesus out. Because that's pride, man. Really, pride is the worst thing for our soul. Okay. So if as a man, she would, and that's what I was saying, when even during an annulment, your wife still wants you back. Even during the divorce, your wife still wants you back, but she don't want that guy she had because it's too painful. She wants the husband she had when we were dating, when we first got married. Really, and her being 40, 50, 60 years old, she wants better than that. Are you as a man willing, are you worthy of that woman, that mother of your children? Are you worthy of her? Do you have enough heart and soul and perseverance to give that woman what she wants every single day, even when you don't feel like it? See, that's what you got to ask yourself. We got to get our butts off the golf course, get our nose out the NFL football, and get our butts off the first, second, and third base in the outfield of Major League Baseball and off the hockey ice. And get our butt and our noses in our wives' business and show them how much we care. Guys think, well, because my wife said I can go play golf. Yeah, but you know what she's doing that for? Because she loves you. She wants you to be happy. She wants you to. Most women will let you do whatever the heck you want if you tell them. But then after a while, men, we get complacent and we taking advantage. Then we come home, we want to have sex. And then we get mad when she don't want to. See, it don't even make sense when you really think about it. We are so distracted as men today. We really are, gentlemen. We really are. We so distracted. We so distracted that we don't even know when our kids want to commit suicide. We don't even know when our wife wants to leave us, when our wife is unhappy, when she doesn't feel like a woman, when she's sexually unsatisfied. We don't know none of that stuff. You know why? We're too busy thinking about ourselves. Was Jesus Christ like that? That's all I'm going to say on it. Was Jesus Christ like that? And I can't answer that for you. Only you can answer that. Okay? If your wife is Catholic, this is her final card to play and your last chance to man up and get things together. If you don't, she will file for an annulment, and within a year or so, she will get it. See, annulments are like the divorce thing. When you filed in today's church, they're gonna give it to you after a year, it could 2 years, 3 years, whatever, but they're gonna get it. But remember, you cannot worry about all of this. Your job is to fix you. And then everything else will start to fall in place. Okay? Then your marriage is not only over in the eyes of the state because of her divorce from you, but now your marriage is over in the eyes of God, which means in all practical purposes, you and your wife are finished as a couple. And I am so sorry. And when we come back, we will start and finish, give you the keys, how you can change this, and give you the keys to how you can make this better and your options. Bam. If you're getting value from this podcast and would like more personal marriage help, visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an opportunity to work with me personally. personally for free. Yes, within 30 days, learn how to become a better husband that attracts your wife back to you. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com and get a plan tailored specific to your marriage and situation. I've helped hundreds of men in their marriages. Allow me the chance to help you using my personal and gained experience. Visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for superior coaching for your marriage. Again, SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com. That's SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com to become the man God created you to be and the husband your wife needs. Consider marriage coaching and visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com for an improved marriage within 30 days. All right, gentlemen, we back, man. I've been sick for 2 days, man. I feel bad. I know it don't seem like it. I don't have my energy. I don't know what it is. I think I had coming to get the flu and something. But I hope that I feel better tonight when I got the group with the fellas because I can't afford to be all dead with them. So here we go, putting it all together. We are discussing the 7 steps a wife will take before she completely ends our marriage in the eyes of the state and in the eyes of God. So putting it all together. So now we're going to discuss your options and your keys to success. So please try your best to understand and try your best to let this sink in. Okay, I'm gonna go through it fast because I only got 12 minutes. Okay, so your options as a husband, best case and worst case scenario. Best case scenario, if you change in time, if you show your wife that you can change and make her feel like a real woman again, who is loved, cherished, and adored above all and everything in your life, she will return. But this takes time and trust. Or if you fail in this task, you invite the worst case scenario, which is after she gets the annulment, you can still dedicate your life to getting her back, or you can decide to move on with your life and seek another partner to spend the rest of your life with, which means your family is toast for the most part. The good thing about all of this is that if you are in my marriage coaching program, you can visit SaveMyCatholicMarriage.com. It prepares you for both of these scenarios. And you must know when to up the strategies as she ups hers. Also, for months, you've been operating from behind. At all costs, you must get even with her strategies and better yet, surpass her and begin outthinking your wife. One of the things we do is we start to try to outthink our wife because why? I'm on a divorce, right? I'm leaving. The U-Haul's out in the driveway. I got an apartment. So you are so far behind once you find out what's going on. That's when your confidence is gone. Like you feel duped as a man. You feel like, man, she really pulled something over on me. There's a lot of things going on, gentlemen, that you don't really understand if you are not getting help and getting the right help too. I hate to say it, but getting the right help. Okay. This is you have to take action and start getting things right. You got to start off thinking your wife to get on the same page as her and get even with her so you can get some respect. Because right now, when she first does this kind of stuff, she don't respect you anymore because she don't love you anymore. She has no hope no more. So she's mad. Okay. So your keys to success. You must at all costs stop the avalanche as soon as possible at the current phase you are in. So if you're in phase 1, the nagging, you got to keep your wife there. Don't let her go to phase 2. If you're in phase 4 and your wife has temporarily left you, you don't want to. That might be phase 2. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's say she left temporarily. You don't want your wife to go to the next phase, which is get another man. You don't want that to happen, man. You want to keep her where she's at, because the further she moves along in these phases, in the 7 of them, the harder it is to get her to change her around and to get her to see that you're serious about what you're trying to do. Okay. You can't allow yourself to enter into the next phase, as each phase worsens her cold heart, and you must fight harder to regain it. This is where your willingness to sacrifice and suffer as Christ did is of utmost importance. You must do whatever it takes: more prayer, more spiritual battle, more humility. You must not listen to what she says, because all she says is on emotion. And in many cases, this is just to throw you off, because deep down, she doesn't know what she is going to do with you. If you continuously listen to her, you will be drawn into her abyss. This will confuse you, make you lose heart, and entice you to get angry and in the end give up. This is why I try to tell men, guys they'll join the program or they'll come to me for help, and I'm trying to get them in the free session. I'm trying to get them to understand the situation, but they can't. They just want to give up. They don't want to stand in there like a real man and fight Satan for their wife and their marriage and their family. They don't have the heart. Today, we men are so weak. We are. We have no spiritual power. We have no perseverance or nothing. But if somebody dogs out the Dallas Cowboys, if somebody dogs out the Indianapolis Colts, if somebody dogs out the Miami Dolphins, if somebody dogs out the Chicago Bears or Michael Jordan or LeBron James, we ready to fight. We ready to actually kill them. We're ready to fight. But you get a man whose wife has walked out on him, you can't get him to fight for nothing. He won't fight for her. That's weak. That is not what Christ asks of us as men. It's not. And that's what I'm asking of you guys. If your marriage is in problems, get it fixed. Stay in the game as long as you can. Stay in the game, man. Don't let some dude take your wife. Don't let Satan have your wife. Don't let Satan have your children. Do not. Because if you lose your wife, your family's toast. Please don't think that's the truth. Our kids never get over divorce. I'm 58 years old, and me and my sister has never got over my mother and my wife's divorce, and they got divorced, 30 years ago or something. And until you've been through a divorce with your parents, you have no idea what I'm talking about. And these people who will go and divorce their husband or divorce their wife and then I can't tell you how many times on the internet I see this stuff about how to get my kid to open up about the divorce, how to make my kid accept the divorce, how to make my kid talk to me about the divorce. Or are they insane, gentlemen? Are they insane? How selfish is that? Then, what about the woman what about the woman, man, that tries to get her kids to turn on their father? What about them kind of women? She needs support, and the kids got to be on my side, so she'll dog out the kids. Now, they try to act like they don't, but they do. And then the kid gets mad, the kid gets hurt, and then starts treating the father bad. The kid don't mean to, but the kid, because they mama's in their ear every day. What is the kid gonna do? And the daddy ain't around. Because why? All the courts give the kids to the wife. Unless the father's smart and fights it at the beginning. Okay? So please don't give up. And next, above all else, find help and learn the skills needed immediately to learn how to keep her if she comes back. If you refuse getting help, then she comes back. How are you going to get her to want to stay and never leave again? That's another thing men don't understand. We don't want to change. We won't get help. And then our wife goes, well, okay, I'll come back. And you go, oh, great, it's going to be great. It's going to be the best marriage ever. And then you don't change. Stuff's still the same. Or you make some little change, or you think you made changes. And you don't have no script, no action steps, no nothing to make the marriage better, to make her feel happy. And then guess what? In 6 months or a year or 5 years, she leaves again. And this time, it's real hard to get her back. Okay? And another thing, too, I'm going to say it, and I always say it. If you can't make this one happy, how you going to make the next one happy if you're a man? If you can't make the wife you got happy, how you going to make the next wife happy? You can't. It's impossible. Trust me. I tried. Okay? So, next, if you refuse getting help, then she comes back. How are you going to get her to want to stay and never leave again? This is a grave question that you, as a man, a husband, must ask yourself. You all must realize the only losers are the ones who quit. If you stand the battle using all the tools at your disposal, you will get results and have a high chance of success. But if you roll over and die, you will have no chance of success. Oh my goodness. Bam. Get Live Catholic Marriage Help Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, and CatholicAlpha.com. All right. All right. So um I think we're gonna go to the conclusion because we are really done. I'm basically done. But what we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna go over the seven, we're gonna go over the 7 steps that a woman does when she really wants to end her marriage. Okay, I'll call it the wife's exit strategy because she's planning to leave, exit your family, exit the house. Okay, and again, you want to keep your wife. As I go through these 7, I want you to think about where your marriage is. Okay, be honest with yourself, gentlemen. Be honest with yourself so that you can really start to take action and understand, okay, I'm in step 7, or I'm in step 4, or I'm in step 2, or whatever. So, real quick, again, so number 1. So here are the 7 phases of a wife's exit strategy, which your wife goes through when she is losing hope in your marriage, hoping that you will come back around. Number 1 is your wife, the need to control you, the nagging. Number 2, phase 2, she leaves you temporarily. She moves to her mama's house or moves to her friend's house, moves to her sister's house. Number 3, phase 3 is another man. She'll go get another man. She'll allow another man to talk to her, to tell him, she'll start telling him all her problems, and he'll start trying to, thinking that means that he can start talking to her a different way other than her husband. Okay. Step 4, phase 4 is your wife asks for a divorce. So basically, she asks for a divorce because she sees the hope is leaving, that there's no chance she's going to change. Phase 5, she separates permanently, which means what? She goes and gets a 12-month lease. She'll get in a house and move 2 houses down from y'all, things like that. Okay. Phase 6, she files for divorce. She actually files for divorce, goes talks to a lawyer, or goes down trying to do the cheap divorce, which don't do nothing. And so that's where she's at. And then step 7 is your wife, after she divorces you, then she files for annulment and she gets the annulment. So just think of all 7 of those things, how much time you actually have. You have so much time to fix yourself, get right with God, get right with your wife in marriage and your children. You have time. Your wife is giving you a lot of time, but it's going to take a lot of hard work. Okay. So, again, I'll see you guys next Thursday. Thank you so much for hanging out for me. And for you guys that didn't see, I'll love it. See, you was late. I'll play around. I started right before 7, and I'm going to start right before 7 again next week. Okay. So, the replay will be on tomorrow, so you can watch the replay, or you can watch the replay on the YouTube channel. You're right there. It'll be ready here in a minute. So, as we always do, we end with a quote from Pope Benedict XVI, which states, "Society offers you comfort, but you weren't made for comfort. You were made for greatness. Now go forth, Christian soldier. The spiritual fight is up on you. Fast, pray, and prepare for battle."